Hey guys, I just noticed that I'm going live and I forgot my coffee. So I guess this doesn't count as a monthly coffee session. Those are usually for members anyway, so I guess I'm gonna need to do another live stream at some point. I need power. Let me know if you can hear everything okay, like music and my voice and stuff. I can still do some adjustments. This doesn't lead to anywhere. Okay. This is working. I'm gonna put some more music to myself, because like I usually have this so quiet that I literally can't hear anything. I'm gonna operate the music at the same time. And my goal is to also paint something. Let's see. I was thinking of maybe using the mesh brush this time around, because I haven't been using it that much, and I made April monster in my last video with this brush, and I just enjoyed that process so much that I thought that I should be using more of this. Yeah, I like that texture that it gives. First priority is to get rid of like those white areas, because I don't want them to be kind of bleaching all the colors. So if I want colors to mix, I want them to mix from colors, not with white. I should have gotten at least some more. By the way, I just, when I opened OBS before going live, I was so kind of like sure that like everything is gonna be working all fine, but I don't know why I am so yellow. I mean, I adjusted these lights to be cold and everything. I checked my LUT and it's not doing anything, it's not even on. But the colors suddenly went yellow. I'm using a Logitech camera for live streaming, so if you're considering what brand to buy, I guess don't buy that one. Anything else. Never had this happen before. Anyway, I'm not yellow. But it was too late to switch it. I guess there's some sort of like automatic white balance thing, and then it maybe read something blue in the background and just decided that I'm going to balance everything else accordingly. How is everybody doing? By the way, this mesh brush should already be in the download folder for members. I noticed that somebody was asking me where they can get it. It's not in any, it's not for sale in any one of my Gumroad packs, if that's what you're wondering. But there was so much stuff in this month's downloads that I can't be 100% sure. But if somebody says in the comments that it's not in the April's download package, then I will add it. But I'm pretty sure that it's there, because I think I checked it this morning. Honestly, there's just so many things to keep track of. I'm so lucky that this week I've been kind of like being able to be creative and do my own art. Because there has been just so many like really long projects that were interesting challenges to do, but at the same time I missed this time when I could just focus on one video at a time and one illustration and then enjoy that process without thinking that like, okay, I need to get this done by 4 p.m. because I have a billion other things to do with other projects at the same time. And when you're working on multiple creative things at the same time, it can often feel like nothing is going anywhere. Like even if you work all day and all week, it can sometimes feel like nothing is getting finished. And I felt that way right before publishing, not my last video, but the video before that, because I was also doing this art course materials for members for the sky painting course. And I had kind of like recorded that stuff weeks ago, and I was trying to get that episode done, but it was in between working everything else that I could kind of edit it little by little, and there was just no checkpoint between these big milestones. So I was working on a lot of things at the same time, 3 different projects, and they kind of all got finished at the same time because they had similar deadlines. So it was a lot of work, but in the middle, I didn't get to feel like, okay, things are progressing, things are going forward. I guess that's just... It feels rewarding when you get a video published or a painting done. Moi Mikko. Moi Akahino Studio. Also, hello to Royi. And I think Esme was also here in the chat. Roye Rafael Franco has been doing a lot of these imagination interval training paintings. I see them, and I think it's like wonderful that you have managed to get so much content out of that week that we did. That was pretty intense. I hope I didn't kind of cause any type of burnout with that, but it was really fun project to do. Also, it was really nice that so many of the members joined that whole impromptu art camp. Okay, I need to kind of put those layers in more reasonable order. I don't think that it's a good idea at this point to paint the background fin on the same layer, because then it will make it harder for me to paint the 3-dimensional volume of this shark. I'm not 100% sure, but I have this hunch that it might be fun to kind of push the greenness of this sea. Give it a little bit of like a surreal look. Esme is recovering from COVID. Oh, sorry to hear that. I hope it wasn't too bad for you. If I've had it, I haven't really noticed. I did the test once that shows you if you have gone through that disease already, but at that time it was already like over a year ago. At that time it was negative. I was sick last week, I think, right after I published that video where I painted 5 illustrations in 1 week, in 5 days, right after I published that video, I immediately had this like slight fever, terrible headache, and I just slept continuously for 2 days. And I'm not sure if I was even sick. It was just felt like my body completely gave up. It was the last of those 3 projects that I was working on, and after that was done, I think my body just said like, okay, we have been hanging on, now it's time for a break. And then I was just completely on the couch like a vegetable for a few days. It wasn't that bad because I wasn't at all a terrible fever. It was just very, very slight. The weird thing was that my boyfriend was going to this work trip that he had been waiting for a really long time, and we were both terrified that like he might get sick as well. So I was here in my workroom like for 2 days because we wanted to isolate me from the rest of the apartment for the few days that he still needed to be healthy. It was somewhat doable because I was like working here anyway all the time, and I have this affordable bed behind me. I think I just got this idea that like, what if I don't put surface texture there, but what if I do it somewhere around here? And the top half is somehow completely covered in kelp or something. I don't know. I really like this color combination, but it's too early for so much saturation, sadly. It'd be fun to do that, but I'm gonna wait for a little while. Yang Ningyuan, I don't know how to pronounce that, is saying the April monster was fantastic. Thanks. I like that I did it anyway, despite like not going through the normal like YouTube keyword research stuff. That I knew that probably I can't make a like very clickable video out of it, but it was just the video that I wanted to make, so I'm glad that I made it anyway and didn't kind of waste the idea because of YouTube reasons. I think for now it's just more important for me to be productive in a way that I don't kind of like get too stuck trying to analyze if everything is worth doing, because you never know. Also, since I have kind of worked so hard to give myself this opportunity to make the kind of art that I want to make, I should sometimes just give myself the permission to do fun things as well and not worry too much about YouTube things. Because once you start doing that, like there's really no logical end to it ever. I know that the fin is like 4 times bigger than it needs to be, but honestly, I don't care. I just thought that it would look cool, so that's why I'm doing it. Is anyone painting right now? Thanks for confirming that the mesh brush is in the downloads. Nice to know. I know that it might sound like very trivial, but like all of these like file management things, they take up like a lot of time. Recently I did this project with this woman from LA, and she needed a whole bunch of my artwork because it was being licensed for this project business that she's doing. And I basically spent 2 days looking for the files that were the right files, because it was art from a really long period of time. And I basically recommended this way of working to her myself, because she was kind of asking for commissions, and I said that like honestly, like these paintings already exist and it's much cheaper for you to license them. So basically I talked myself out of a commission by giving her this cheaper option, and I think that was like more beneficial for both of us. Because I would probably still be doing those and I wouldn't be able to do any videos or paintings for other reasons. Pradhad is asking for a link. You need to go into the membership community page, and there in the community posts you can see in the recent posts link to the April folder. I have linked it a few times, so there are at least 2 posts that link to that same folder. But if you're having trouble finding it, just write me a comment on any one of the membership live videos, membership exclusive videos, and I can reply the link there for you. I'm gonna have also some cool hues, but I'm gonna isolate them, kind of highlight this shark body here. How often do you do live streams? I don't know. I wish that there was like a more consistent schedule to this, but honestly, it's just currently still it's whenever I can, like whenever work allows me. Which is like probably not the answer that you wanted to hear, but like it's the right one. Also fear like if I set myself into a system where I need to be live at the same time every week, it would make it really difficult to do some commissions, for example, and that would make my life really difficult because I need those to make money. So as fun as these are to do, I need to think about setting up systems so that I can kind of pay my bills and stuff. Sharks have these really black, kind of huge eyes. Sometimes they can look quite cute when they are not terrifying. It really doesn't have any white surrounding it, but doing a small circle here so that the eye can kind of pop out more, because it's in the middle of like all this dark, evil sharkness. It's like nice and chunky. I think I'm gonna change the position of this fin a little bit. Chunkier, and then change the orientation slightly. I think that's better. For some reason, I think whale and shark creatures are like really cute in illustrations, but I would never go like deep sea diving to look at them because like I would just be too terrified. I also think that bears are quite scary too. Sometimes I wonder how people go hiking in these very bear-heavy areas. Like, what do you do when you see a bear? You just like hope that you get lucky, I guess. That doesn't seem like a plan. I drew this area so many times. Like this, I just want it to look clean, but at the same time like designed like a car. Roy is asking, Master Sky paintings in membership are so helpful. Thanks. Like, it really makes me happy to hear that. It's also open the imagination. I'm not sure what you mean by that, so thank you for that. I'm really happy about that series. I did already shoot like a new video for it. It's this new clipping mask technique that is specific to that topic, but I think it's also a really good way to show clipping masks in practice, like these things that I'm using for how to paint clouds. So I think it's one of the more important videos in that series. And the reason why I haven't posted that, because when I was shooting it, I did it for an entire hour, and then I ran out of memory from those cards. Like, these are only like 1 tera in size, so I shot a tera of footage, and then I realized that like I need to do this again, because at that point I had gone to like really fine detail about how to use clipping masks, and I know from experience from running this channel that it's one of those topics that like some people have a lot of difficulty with, like in implementing that into their own workflow. So I decided that like I'm going to rewrite the entire thing, and like the rest of those videos, like the idea is to make them kind of like short and digestible. So I think the better tutorials in that series are the ones that are shorter. That's the whole reason why I wanted to do that whole art course after finishing that Sky Garden Academy full breakdown, because I didn't want to make another 4-hour video series again. That was something that almost killed me. Anyway, usually pretty much like with all tutorials that I shoot, like the same has happened for all the beginner to advanced tutorials as well, that once you explain how something works and you do a video out of it, it's almost always better to do it at least twice or 3 times, because every time you explain the same thing, you get better at explaining that thing. So I've noticed that with like pretty much every tutorial that I have made, that the first try always goes into the trash bin, because I don't want to waste anyone's time who is already frustrated and trying to learn some like technical detail. That basically I don't want to waste their time, because that energy should be spent on implementing that information. sometimes I just pick apart these blobs and I use them where I need another blob without having any relationship with the source material. Because once you do a Gaussian blur, it doesn't really matter what the original shape was if the blur is big enough. Per Hendrik L is saying your 5 illustrations in 5 days video was very helpful for me to overcome my latest art block. Happy to join the stream now. Yeah, it's nice to hear. Art blocks must suck. I think I have sometimes like these moments in life where I wouldn't really call it an art block, that I'm just too tired to be creative, honestly. And I think that's fine. Sometimes I need rest. Just recently I was in this trip to Fiskars, which is known for these scissors that are produced in that area, or at least that factory was originally in there. And when we left for that trip, I intentionally said that like I'm just going to leave my iPad here and I'm gonna do more work when I get back, but during this time I'm not gonna be doing anything, because it was anyway, the whole trip was my birthday gift that I got in January, so I think I would have just wasted it if I had been working all the time. But the way that always goes is that then when we get to Fiskars and I see the town, it was so beautiful. I mean, literally, I took so many photos and videos because I thought that like I really want to paint all of this later. The buildings are so beautiful and it's in the middle of nowhere. In my last video, there is like one bit from that trip when we have climbed on this hill and it was like a beautiful sunny day. So when I'm contrasting this like blizzard weather and sunny weather, the sunny weather bit is from Fiskars. And it just looks like complete wilderness. You don't see any buildings there, but like the beautiful architecture is just like on this like one tiny strip along the river. So it's just a small village that just has like one road, basically. How many layers do you prefer to have? K-Arcs is asking. I think that depends on the painting. I think all of these live streams are not very descriptive of how I normally paint, because in a live stream, like, the techniques are basically just all based on whatever I can do the fastest. Because normally when I paint, I don't have this workflow. If I know that I have, for example, 3 days to work on something, then I will try to make every process just once. But in a live stream, my priority is to get to the visual impact, and everything else is just kind of like can be sacrificed in search of that visual impact in that time frame, because I'm not going to be finishing this painting during this session. Like, I usually don't finish my paintings in these live streams. It's just not enough time for that, and I don't want these live streams to be just paintings that I can finish in an hour or 2 hours. I think that would be really limiting to what I can do with these. So for example, that like whole school of fish that I just did, I would probably spend, I would just have a different approach altogether if I wasn't doing a live stream, but it's not going to drastically change the visual impact. So therefore, it's not one of those things that matters to me in this moment. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong in like painting this way. I think it's fine, but it does cause me to kind of rework some areas later quite often. Andrew is asking, by the way, is it only me or anybody else has problems with moving process from one folder to another in Procreate? It's not just you, it's really fiddly because the issue is that it's really difficult to know what does Procreate consider as the point of contact with your touch gestures at that point. When you have grabbed that brush and you are trying to move it to another folder, the only logical way to avoid errors in that is to wait for the folder in which you are moving the brush to kind of show that it has been activated. There is like a change in the folder that you drag it to, and it can take some time to kick in. So, but I would recommend that, because otherwise you might drag a brush into a folder and you don't know where. You just like drop it and then you have to go looking for it. I don't think it's like super convenient, or maybe I'm just doing it wrong. It might be that like whoever designed and coded that thing had a completely different like way of using it in mind when they created it, and I just didn't get it, maybe. I think that's also the inherent problem with touch controls that is probably not going to go away ever, that people feel like gestures are so personal that everybody interprets them in their own way, and therefore it's really difficult to make these overall designs that like you'd say to a huge group of people that just press lightly on this icon and it does one thing, and then hard here. Those adjectives mean completely different actions to different people. Sisu is saying, I'm trying to paint a landscape. Paint a landscape, don't just try. You can do it. so miss coffee. Oh my god. The only reason why I want to like to make more money is so that I can someday hire an assistant that can bring me coffee when I need it. I just had one cup of coffee this morning, so for those who have seen my coffee cup sizes, don't judge me. This is like professional arting. I just wanted to break up that gradient a little bit. If they are like this sort of like bright yellow banana fish. I think I like that. I think the funny thing here is that like I was cheap with the line art because I just copied the same fish a few times, but now that I'm painting it by hand, they end up looking kind of like more individual. It's not that cheap. Sorry for being quiet, I like really need to focus on this because it's not just the details, but I need to kind of actively think about the size of the brush, that how small do I want to make it. I know that if the goal was just to make the most amount of details, then I would just like crank it all the way down here, but I want to keep the cohesive look of the painting, so that would be an like really easy way to ruin it at this point, because as fun as it is to paint these little yellow fish thingies right here, I don't want, this is not about these fishes, this painting, and it would be really easy to kind of give that false impression by painting these with too small of a brush. So like this part I'm really happy about. This is something that would not impress anybody who is like not doing art professionally, but like I think this part, it communicates what I wanted to communicate, but at the same time, it's not like hysterical detail stuff. I don't know if this fish is a bit too close to the edge. I might pull it in closer a little bit, but I'm gonna be using the line art to make these like basic shapes first. For that brush consistency, I recommend using these new markers that you can put here to the brush sizes. I don't think the opacity is that important because I have opacity at 100 most of the time anyway. I just control it by stylus angle and pressure. And in the case of this mesh brush, it's also the way that the brushstroke is painted. It can blend more or less color at the same time. So I'm going to select all of these layers and then do a selection for this one fish. I don't know if it's that intrusive here, honestly, because it's behind that kelp, so I think it's fine. I'm going to put it a little bit lower here. Yeah. Just to give it that like sense of continuity. I missed some comments. I noticed that there's like some compliments that I don't know if I can read. Those are always awkward. Hello, Amaya, you caught me live. Yes. Esme, thank you. Kailan is saying, I've swum with reef sharks. It was quite peaceful. Rays are scary though. Yes, rays are also, I think, more tricky to draw because like the organic shape is just terrifying for me. Hello, Tarsisio. Glad you made it. Asena is asking how much time usually it takes to do one of your illustrations. Completely depends on the illustration, honestly. It could be anything from 2 weeks. Like some of the illustrations on this channel have taken up 2 weeks for me to do. Or it could be just like one evening of painting. Or like one session even. I think I painted most of Happy Together in 20 minutes and it was just like done. Then I went into like polishing that illustration after the live stream session. I think the biggest thing for me was just like don't ruin it because it's almost done already. I just came across your painting yesterday. These are the paintings I've been looking for in my life. Thanks. That's so nice of you. Andrew is saying, Mikko, do you remember how many layers are in Ghost Island Procreate file? Can't open it on my 11-inch iPad Pro M1. Procreate says artwork exceeds this device's capabilities. Didn't I already upload a smaller version of that file into the folder? So I recommend opening the smaller one, because I know that some people already commented on that. At least there's a flat version of that file, but even if you have the same size of an iPad as I do, and it's M1 like mine is as well, this is the 1 terabyte storage version of this iPad, and depending on the storage version there is a different amount of RAM on iPads, so that could be the reason why it's not opening. If I haven't uploaded the smaller version, I will do it, because like the purpose of that Procreate file was to kind of show the layer structure, so I think it's better to do that in practice by opening it on your iPad. If you haven't found the smaller version, I will make sure that I will upload it after this live stream. But if you just want to print it on your wall, there's also a flat version there. That is the high resolution one. Done any eyes for these fish, but I'm not sure if I'm going to. Okay, maybe the fin is slightly too big. Maybe just a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna select these two layers and then just do some warp tool adjustments. That's a bit better. Maybe it's slice off a little bit here. I need to stop sitting like a Pringles chip. It's not healthy. Rice and Beans is saying, dude, I am suffering from a really weird thing. I don't know. Every time when I think to start a new painting, I just feel that I should delete that painting. It can be more better, that means. I don't know what you mean by that last part, but I don't think there's anything weird about that feeling. I think 100% of artists feel that way after starting a painting, but it just means that you haven't gone over that hill yet when it starts to make sense. And sometimes that can be like at the last few minutes of a painting process, you just have to get there. I think I definitely felt that way with my last painting, like right around the time when I switched from blocking in with colors to go into line art. I just felt like I'm so lost. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with this piece. Because the original idea was so vague that I just had no direction whatsoever. But instead of deleting it like you want to do, I know that that is part of the process. I know that I will feel that way at some point, and then I just kind of keep going. until the painting is done. I think I have this kind of like privileged position being a professional artist that I can't afford to throw art away when it's not looking like the way that I want to. Like, I have to understand that it's just not finished yet. That's why I feel that way. Paint or not to paint. There is no try Mikko philosophy of the day. Yes, I think I just repeated that. So Kailani, you're absolutely right. I think with art and painting, you have to realize that the goal for looking for like that fun element in the painting process, that should be, how do I say this in a reasonable way? Like, the goal in searching that fun in the painting and art process, it should be here, like right now, when I'm doing this piece, not when it's done and when it's looking nice or whatever. Because this is where I'm going to be spending most of this time when I'm working. Not looking at the finished piece when it's done and looking like I want it to look like. Most of this process is looking at the painting when it's not looking like optimal. And you can't waste that time by feeling bad about your current art skills. You have to focus on what you can do to help that message come alive on your canvas. I think the tough love version of this message is that, like, at some point you have to realize that it's not about you at all. It's about what the art is and what you can do to deliver that message in its most honest, clear way possible. think it's kind of like starting to have this really nice mood that I like. After I get the mood in, then it's really enjoyable for me to just like look at the painting and work on it, because like I will work on it anyway, but when I get to enjoy the kind of like mood and the space of it, then it's really like super fun for me. Because I know that the painting and creativity in general, it doesn't owe me anything. So whenever it can be like nice and give me something to enjoy, then you just kind of shut up and be grateful for it. But it doesn't owe you anything. It doesn't have to make the painting process rewarding if it's already giving you an idea. When I was doing the isometric drawing, I think that was like one of those things that it took me like a week or 2 weeks to do. With the video and everything, I think it was more closer to 2 weeks of painting. Because just the drawing took so many days to get done. And in that process, I just felt like, what if this is just like not gonna work out? But there's no way to know. There's absolutely no way to know. And only at the end, when I did the edges of that piece, then I was like, okay, now I get why I made all of that work. And I'm sorry for being kind of selfish midway through. Give like a little bit of texture for the eye to kind of grab onto there. Just this one, but I need to do it in 2 phases. So I need to unclip this, clip this, and now I have merged it into both. CB, welcome to Angry Mob. I just noticed that you became a member. Check out the art course materials, because that is not a permanent video series, so it's still gonna go on for a good while. I still have plenty of videos to make for it, but it's not permanent. The other videos are, so. Also, CB, if you want, I recommend, now I can really say that I do recommend doing the imagination interval training. So if you look at that playlist, you can do a week of it, and it's not easy. I'm not gonna say that it's easy, but it's definitely worth it. Did we run out of music? I'm trying to be a DJ here at the same time. It feels weird. I haven't done a live stream in a while, and I noticed that for whatever reason, my video source for the background video somehow crashed. I don't know how to fix it. Who knows? I don't even know where it is. Have you ever used gouache? Yes, I have. This is the kind of stuff that is important for finishing, but like not for visual impact. So I think I'm just gonna do this one and then copy it a few times and do the individual tweaks later. Why was the shark's head pink at the start? Such a great question. Yes. Andrew, about the download, I think the smaller file size, it was named differently. I really can't stop the stream and check right now, but I promise I will do it after the stream. If the smaller version isn't there, I will upload it again, but I think I already did. There should be only 2 Procreate files in that folder. Per is asking, have you seen the new Batman movie? Can you... What was the question again? Can you tell us what you thought about the Batman movie? I thought that it was really well shot. I think the cinematography was beautiful and memorable. That part about it I really liked. I usually don't like any comic book movies because I feel like they are meant for people younger than me, that I'm too old for them. It's just usually the plot is quite childish in many of them. But this new Batman movie I did enjoy. For example, all the Marvel movies, they are just like, I can't get into them. Like, I feel like they're just not for me. Someone was asking Quinty that, can you give me advice on composition? I really can't give you advice on composition because I don't see the illustration that you're working with, but composition is always individual to the piece that you are working on. However, there are some basic composition rules. Basically, my whole art class, when I'm teaching concept art, it's always basically about composition, and we go through this checklist of like how to check for composition mistakes, and the whole course, the last course that I did was 100 hours, just composition. So I really can't condense all of that into a single video or one piece of advice here, but I could, however, do, like, if you were in my class, that if I saw your piece, then I could kind of like help you with that composition by going through that the same checklist. But I think it's really important and something that is probably going to be a learning process that is going to last for the rest of your life. So it's the biggest thing that there is to learn about art. All the other things kind of like fall under that, like color composition and value composition and positioning and symbolism and all of those things. They are just small little aspects of composition. When you start learning composition, I think it's good to have a lot of patience. It's going to take you probably a lot longer than you assume. I think the same is probably true with everything when it comes to art, that it's always kind of good to manage your expectations, to just be ready for the learning process to be a lot longer. But the interesting part about composition is that because there is an endless way to form a composition, even if you have like a checklist that you use for it, still you can keep finding new ways to kind of like make new ways of arranging elements in your image so that it's easier for your viewers to understand what you want to say with your piece. Is it already time for me to get something reasonable for these? Probably. Let's see. What is the shark looking at? Good question. Or maybe the shark is just thinking about something. Sharkly thoughts. Like, can I eat that? I don't know. Clovrin at ideas. Clovrin at ideas is saying, "Hey Mikko, I've been watching you for some time now, and I have to say your mentality has helped me so much. Thank you. I'm really glad if it has some way. If I didn't find your channel, I wouldn't be as motivated to keep going as I am now. Thanks. Oh, thank you. That is really nice of you. I don't know that it would be possible to just watch my videos and not write that, but I appreciate that. It's really... It does motivate me to keep making more content and videos. I know that some people think that like YouTube comments are there just to kind of like inform the algorithm of like what kind of videos to push forwards, but like it really does matter for the content creator, because like videos take so long to make, and when somebody leaves even like a small comment that they appreciated the video or got some value out of it, then it's not just about the algorithm. Like, sure, that thing does matter, but it's so nice to like have that little bit of like human connection with somebody, that they confirm that like, yes, we acknowledge that you have worked for this and we have seen it and we appreciate it. Like, that does still matter, like in the old-fashioned sense. That also, this is probably true for all content creators. I don't know, like somebody maybe who is like massively popular might not have time to read any comments, but like at least I read all of the comments that this channel gets, especially when I publish new videos. Like, then I can see who is there and to be able to interact with people who see my videos. It just feels so rewarding after that process of making and painting, editing the video so that it can be edited. It needs to be kind of processed at least 2 times before I can get to the actual video editing, and then finding the story and finding the right clips for it and making sure the colors are right, that the camera isn't shaking, and all of that stuff. It takes days and days of constant work. So when somebody comments on a video, like, it's really nice to kind of like see that you're not just doing this in the pure empty void of the internet, that there are actually real people on the other end watching. And that's pretty much the reason why I stopped working in a company anyway, because like when you are working in a company, you can really get lost in there. Like, nobody notices that you basically even exist sometimes. So for me, like, really big part, I don't know if this sounds selfish, but like really big part why I wanted to have my own YouTube channel is that I wanted people to actually see my artwork, so that it isn't just being thrown into the trash in production, because only like the final pieces that are used in, like, for example, marketing get shown to the public anyway. So all the rest of the art is just thrown into the trash basically. And also, if the company is big enough, then it's not in the company's best interest to kind of like elevate those artists and say that like this artist made this painting. So the artist names are kind of like hidden, so that the artists working in bigger production companies, that they wouldn't have this sort of independence. And you see this currently changing in a really drastic way when it comes to, for example, video game production in Japan, because previously a lot of the character designers were like big incentives of like how to market a game, that like our game has been done by these artists and this is our main character designer. But more and more new game companies that are emerging in Japan, like, they don't name check the character designers anymore. because the company culture is changing in Japan. It used to be that like you work in the same company from your starting day until your retirement or death, most likely your death, basically. But these days, people leave companies for different reasons, for creative reasons, and that's why the companies are not motivated to kind of like highlight or name check their artists in the process of marketing the game. I'm gonna simplify the colors of this school of fish a little bit because it's in the distance. I don't want it to kind of take too much attention. Thank you, Fabulous Fauna, for confirming that. Also, I never get tired of saying the name Fabulous Fauna. I think that's such a great name. So Andrew is still here. Okay. glad that got sorted. So in the future, when I share Procreate files, I will try to remember with the best of my ability to also do a smaller version for, because I tend to kind of like work at the maximum capacity of whatever hardware I'm working with. And I don't want to give the impression that like you need to have this sort of like the same kind of iPad like I do for working, because like it's complete overkill in most cases. I kind of like that kind of reflection of these mushroom-like shapes on the ground, or seafloor, I guess. Just now looking at the fin, and I feel like I want to add same kind of notch in there as well. Maybe 2. This little shark has seen some battles. Poor shark. Maybe that's why it's looking so miserable. He's looking like a nice shark. In the context of sharks. I think this is giving that eye a little bit of like subsurface scattering, so you can kind of see that the light is kind of leaking in here into the mystic material of the shark eye. The one weird thing here is that like these dots of red are completely holding this composition together, but I have no idea what they are. So let's just see how far along I can kind of skate by with them just being random brushstrokes, magically saving my ass in this whole painting. Also, what is happening here? Oh my god. Yeesh. There's There's some work to be done. When it comes to like details like these, I really like them, and in my April illustration there's also just like a ton of like texture where the areas of different colors meet together. It's the mesh brush because it kind of blends colors together when they are painted on the same layer. And I know that on Instagram or wherever, or Twitter, nobody will be able to see those, but it's only for people who like look at the image in high resolution, or I don't know, as a large print or something. But it doesn't really matter to me that people don't see them, because like they are so fun for me to paint. Like I love that stuff. Now you might hear sounds that sound like somebody's stabbing our little dog, but that is just excitement because my boyfriend just came home and Vivi is demanding playtime. Also, I can hear that my boyfriend is about to open the balcony door, and for whatever reason, that is the most exciting thing ever that can happen to the life of a small corgi. And the weird thing is that when I open the balcony door and I give Vivi permission to run to the balcony, she will just like go there and come right back. But it's the opening of the door that is so exciting that she just can't handle it at all. It's too exciting for her. Because the door is closed, and then with one sound it can be open. Like somehow this is just breaking her brain.
Listen.
I think I need like something vertical happening. Oops. Here. I think I need to kind of, for the sake of line rhythm, add something there. Maybe bubbles? I don't know. I know I have said this with like every piece that I have made, but like I'm well aware that there are no bubbles underneath the waves, just going up, but I like painting them, so that's my reasoning. End of story. Odd Space Ghost is saying, binge watched so many of your vids in the last few days. Thanks. Well, thank you for being here. I can't see what Nishiki is saying because the message has been deleted. Hey dude, how's it going today? Well, it's an okay day. I love this track. Oh my god. Yes, it has the best opening. I'm ruining it by speaking. I don't know if anybody has noticed, but I love everything that has this sort of like ticking clock sounds. Everything. I have incorporated that to the sound design of absolutely everything that even like remotely allows for it. I have so many clock samples on my PC that it's crazy. Explanation for the salmon colored dots. I'm gonna leave it there. I think this fish at least needs an eye. Smiling. I'm like this close to adding like a cute blush to it. Okay, I can't resist. Just like a little bit. Let's do it in overlay. I'm gonna leave it there. my next video. Why people don't take me seriously. This part is just like intuitive brushstrokes, which is, for me, why kelp is always so much fun to paint. Fabulous Fauna is saying corgis are very dramatic. Yes, they are. Nishiki Varma is asking, hey Mikko, absolutely love your work. I wanted to ask you about the commercial license for your painting brush sets. Is commercial license included with them? So with the brushes that you have bought, you can paint and sell whatever, as long as you don't sell the brushes themselves. Like, everything else is completely fine. And you don't have to mention that you have used my process. I appreciate it when somebody does it. I think it's a really nice thing to do, but like, it's in no way required. And I'm not gonna go around the internet checking if people are crediting me for the creation of those tools. Like, when you buy my brush, it's yours to do with whatever you want with it, as long as it's not selling that brush forward. also the same goes for all of like the membership process. Like people can use them for whatever art they want. And of course, like if you sell commissions, you can sell commissions done with those process. It's fine. I think I went a bit overboard, so I wanted to fix that. So we're gonna have a lighten layer, do a quick brush stroke here, and then a Gaussian blur. I always forget which one it is because lighten and lighter color work differently in Photoshop and in this Procreate. And I always get them mixed up. That softens the contrast a little bit. I'm surprised how little time I have spent on the actual shark in this whole shark painting. I guess because it's so few brush strokes, it's kind of like part of its charm, I guess. So I don't want to be working on stuff that doesn't need that much extra stuff, because I'm honestly pretty happy with it already. Joshua says, "Hi Mikko, I just discovered you 2 days ago. My cursor was in front of the number. Love your work and your insightful videos." Thank you. I'm glad you found my channel, Joshua. Megan is saying, "Thanks for the late live stream, Mikko. Got to catch most of it today." Yeah, that's honestly one of the reasons why I don't want to have like a regular live streaming schedule, because then it would always exclude somebody. Because for someone, it's the middle of the night and they can't watch the live stream for that reason, or whatever. try doing the noise trick. So I think we should be kind of wrapping up here. How long are we now? 2 hours. So I hope I'm not boring all of you, but I'm gonna do one more thing before I go. I promise you, like, this is really handy if you're painting underwater scenes. So first of all, I'm gonna do a fill on an empty layer, then go into noise options, and then just like add a ton of noise. This is usually a bit easier if you're using bigger scale, because it's gonna help with the later phase. And you can like kind of check with these different values to find an effect that you like. And now I'm gonna do a small Gaussian blur, really small, so I'm gonna zoom in to see how this affects the whole thing. Okay, I think that's fine. And now I'm going to go into curves, crank down everything, and this is going to kind of like make most of that texture disappear. I'm just gonna leave a little bit of it visible. And then turn this into screen blend mode. And now, if I want, I can kind of use this as plankton layer and paint it where I want it with a layer mask. So I'm gonna take everything away, and now I can enhance, for example, that invisible line of bubbles going through here. Just add a bit of like visual appeal to the decorative edges of this piece. And I'm gonna duplicate it. And I'm gonna crunch it down into very small scale. Duplicate it, and here I want to make sure that my snapping is on. It doesn't have any kind of like long lines. You need to have only one layer selected for this. So I'm gonna snap it to the corner here. And then just repeat this process until I have covered the entire image. So I'm gonna look for that blue line to see that it snaps. As long as you don't see like a visible seam. You don't have to be pixel perfect with this because it's just dots. So even if it is at the edge, it won't be that visible because I'm only going to be painting a few areas of this into visibility anyway. So you don't have to be like too precious with this stuff. But because these are way smaller than the first batch of like little dots, these are going to give that like sense of depth when I pull it behind some of the foreground elements. And that way I can kind of like separate elements in this illustration. So you see that it's all the way into the background. I'm gonna mask it. And then just paint it into view, like the furthest background areas. And that's gonna give this whole image like a bit more of that sort of distance illusion. Okay, that is sharkiness. Give it a slight Gaussian blur because that is going to also make a few of those dots like transparent. I'm pretty happy with this. Okay, thank you everybody for joining, and I will post this on Instagram and Twitter when it's done. Wondering what the shark is thinking. Yeah, I don't know, it looks kind of sad for some reason. But he should be happy. Like, he seems to be like a kind of like in a chunky shape. Do you intend to publish more videos on game design? I loved your pixel art game video. I don't know. I just did a concept art class, so I think I'm gonna probably like focus on those classes for the game related stuff. I'm gonna do it the whole blabbering end thing again, so I'm just gonna say that thank you everybody for joining this live stream, and I will see you in the next video. Hopefully I will get this video working again, because like I don't know what happened. I lost it for some reason, but hopefully next time I will have all the visual elements working. Okay, bye. And there's going to be like that new tutorial for the art course that I'm doing for members, so sorry for losing the material earlier, but I should be able to publish that shortly, next week the latest, and then we can continue painting skies. Okay, bye again, bye.